Okay, we can talk about Christian Pulisic because
let's do it.
He released a Players Tribune article that hit the hearts of many Americans because part of 2014 that he was a part of in the World Cup was the watching experience, was the experience of getting to that stage that he wanted to be at in 2018, and of course we would hope he'll be at 2022. But in 2014, he kind of went through some of the motions that were a part of the USA's run towards the round of 16 and coming out of the group of death that included Germany and Portugal and being able to overcome that, including landed Clint Dempsey's 29-second goal within the first minute against Ghana. And of course, in the 85th minute, John Brooks' header.
Where he blacked out when he scored.
Completely black, and he cried, and he's on the ground, he's overcome with emotion, and the commentary at that point was they stole one from Ghana, and made everything possible down the road. Tim Howard's play, everything like that, and eventually coming up short against Belgium, but a very close game and a competitive game that almost saw us go to the quarterfinals of the World Cup. And he said it was heartbreaking to see that. He felt like when he was running around his basement watching that game, he had a whole country running around the basement with him. And when you're Christian Pulisic and you're on the rise to becoming a great talent in the world of football for Borussia Dortmund, for the USA, like you had the chance in 2018 to literally have the entire country running around with you as you scored goals in qualifying, as you set up goals in qualifying. So it was a really well done piece. Overall, I'm not sure if you have some specific quotes that you wanted to read from it, but I would encourage everyone to go read it because we do have a person, I believe, who is well beyond his years and maturity and is getting all the experience he needs to overseas where he should be. And he is going to bring hopefully the brightest possible future for the U.S. men's national team if they can get the rest of their shite together.
That's the big
problem. And a defense, seriously.
I'm gonna
just go buy. We can just give some citizenship. There's 4 people, Trump. Just let us give.
Have Oprah hand out citizenship.
Just let us give citizenship to the PSG defenders.
You get it.
It's fine. Just Ramos, you can be an American, and Boateng, you could be an American. 4 of you.
Somehow.
It would be a literal lottery.
If we can rig an election in the United States, we can rig citizenship for a few people.
We can do this. I think first of all, there are already some people who do that. Second of all,
no, I understand. I'm saying for PSG defenders.
None of them, to my knowledge, can play football at the highest possible level. So we have to start.
Well, we leave that to Carson Wentz.
Look, the extreme vetting is going in the wrong direction. We need that to go to more towards. Okay, so let's see. You're 6'3", you run a 4.40. Yeah. Who is the 13th president of the United States? It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Just come on in. Come on in.
Just know who George Washington is.
Washing machine. George washing machine.
George dryer machine.
George drying machine.
George Mirasan.
Mirasan.
There's a few points. Firstly, the Players Tribune article, I double down on that. It's a must read. The second is go watch the 60 Minutes interview that Christian Pulisic had on CBS because it showed you a side to him that is giving, that is caring, and that is also humble, and that is somewhat awkward, I think is safe to say, because of his age and also because he's dealing with stardom at such a young age, especially with Borussia Dortmund. This isn't like going to some low-level club in the 2nd or 3rd tier and being a star. This Borussia Dortmund, which is the People's Club of Germany. So on top of that,
the People's Elbow of Germany.
On top of that, that should be his goal celebration.
It should be the People's Elbow for the People's Club.
On top of that, there's a lot of problems with the United States men's national team. I don't believe that it all falls on Bruce Arena. I don't think it all falls on Jurgen Klinsmann being fired. Do I think those two go hand in hand? Obviously. But there is systemic problems going on with the United States, and just reading his comments and what he wrote for the Players Tribune, it just set off all these triggers in my mind about the pay-to-play system that is going on with the United States, where some families have to pay somewhere from, depending on where you live, $3,000 to $12,000 a year in order for your kid to play. So those in lower economic systems in the United States are not able to. Huge problem. There's another thing that was published by The Guardian that I'd like to read to all of you.
The Guardian.
There was a study that went on where they compared the background of each U.S. men's national team member from 93 to 2013, that of every NBA All-Star and NFL Pro Bowler over the same period, using socioeconomic data from their hometown zip codes. They found soccer players came from communities that had higher incomes, education, and employment rankings, and were whiter than the U.S. average, while the basketball and football players came from places that rank lower than average on those same indicators. Those numbers have tightened since 2008, reflecting more recent diversity in soccer, but the gap remains. And one of the founders of the study said, "I'm, to be honest, surprised that the data is so striking." Doug Andressen, U.S. soccer chairman, said the system is not working for the underachieved community. It's working for the white kids. I agree with all this. Numbers do not lie. And if we don't want to see another article written like this ever again, you got to start at the root of the problem. You don't go to a tree and say, oh, that leaf is brown, let me water it. You plant a new seed. That is exactly what needs to happen with the United States Soccer Federation. Sunil Gulati should not be allowed to run it anymore. We need someone who wants to have the pay-to-play system completely revoked from the academies and just try to find the best talent who necessarily can't afford to shell out $3 to $12 to even $20,000 a year to go play for some bullshit club that doesn't produce the best players.
Soccer's whiter than golf in this country. Like people need to get that, like people have to realize that like you can like country clubs and shit like that for high school golf teams, that's cheaper than soccer. That's a problem. That's a massive problem.
But do you agree that in order to not have these comments from Pulisic, you got to get rid of it?
You have to get rid of pay to play, or at least give it an equal opportunity outlet.
Yes.
So if you want to keep pay to play and let the white kids run around with their high income and play like soccer and not, you know, whatever it might be, sure. But like you have to understand when it comes to like basketball, especially basketball, what does it cost to get recruited to play basketball in college?
What does it cost?
$0. You go to public school, and again, some of these, as Chance the Rapper, I'm wearing a shirt actually, happens to be helping out public schools in the south side of Chicago and Chicago in general. Not everybody is given the same opportunities. A lot of people, though, do get the opportunity to find a way to get to a public school, whether it be good or bad. Unfortunately, some of them are very bad situations.
Yep.
Basketball is an outlet. Football is an outlet. Sports is an outlet. It takes you away from a spotlight that can be overwhelming and unfortunate and have to deal with problems that I shouldn't even be speaking on because I've never had to deal with them myself, and that's not trying to falsely empathize or sympathize with them. However, I do know that when you do have a sport, whether you're good or bad at it, it does take away. You get a team which teaches you camaraderie. If you listen to a lot of NBA players, like J.R. Smith, for example, who came out of Newark, you know, his coach saved his life. Karl Anthony Towns said something very similar. A lot of players will talk about how it's important to have that kind of team, that kind of camaraderie in their life to help structure them. Jimmy Butler couldn't afford basketball shorts. Jimmy Butler couldn't afford shoes.
He was homeless.
Jimmy Butler was literally homeless, living with friends and whoever he could find. So you got to give soccer as another example of a great team sport. That as long as there's a field, and whether it's beat up or not, as long as there's a field and a ball, you can get good at that sport. And why do we know that? Because look at some of the other countries that aren't even given even close to the same economic status that the United States has. And they're playing on dirt, and they're getting good enough to play world football at the highest level. Therefore, you know, that's why, I mean, in general, get rid of pay.
In soccer, they're playing on dirt without even sometimes a ball. In the Dominican Republic, they have sticks and they play with like cans and bottle caps.
They play with their imagination.
It doesn't
straight up
matter.
Play with their imagination.
The United States has how many million people? How many?
3. Recent census data.
Right, of course. Like millions upon millions.
I believe it's 500 million, but I could be very wrong.
I thought it was like 3
Is it 300
something,
million?
but like whatever. So like 30 million something?
Give or take a million.
30 million something are playing soccer in this country? You're telling me that you can't find the best talent out there?
Look, Iceland has 13 people, and 11 of them are good enough to field a national team that made it past the group stages of the Euros and got to the quarterfinals. They have like actually like 15, no, it's like
they have 22,000.
Yeah, 22,000.
Yeah,
you realize
22,000 people.
22,000 people. That 22,000 people could fit in a square mile in LA.
Yes.
A square mile. We can fit all of Iceland here. We should invite them all over.
That might be the
massive
size
party.
of my town.
We should have a massive party.
It might be the size of my
Should we
town.
have a big party for Iceland?
Shark party?
Invite them all to, you know,
Sorry.
and then like shark party and have like 2 of them.
Does anybody understand that
And
reference?
then 2 of them will be like,
You
hey,
understand that reference?
hey, we'll give you
Anthony
citizenship.
Jeselnik?
Oh, okay. How many?
He would have a shark
Here we
party on
go.
his show.
How many citizens? No, what is it? Population of the United States?
Population of Iceland or the United States?
United States.
Yeah, I
don't
thought it was like
believe you.
340,
look it up?
339. Yeah,
Whoa!
and like 30 million
You
play soccer.
misaccounted for 16 million people. 323.1 million.
Whatever. So the point is,
Dude, the UK has 65 million. That's not that many.
it's not
That's
that many.
amazing.
How many does Russia have?
144.
For that much land?
A lot of it's fucking cold, man. Like they're on Canada's
You're cold.
that level of you're cold. Let's rank
All right.
population rankings.
All right, we're getting off topic here.
It's important though.
The main, just come back. The main point is,
Do you know
we
what the world
need to get rid of
population
what?
Do you know what the world population is?
No,
7.5 billion.
I was gonna go with 2 million.
They weren't joking when they said we need a plague. Like we're getting so overpopulated
Damn.
that we're just gonna need to. We're really gonna need to sit. There's one decent Dane Cook joke of recent. I like Dane Cook's like old stuff, but a lot of the new stuff I'm not as big of a fan. Comedy is hard though, so I'm not gonna totally shit on him. He has a Dane Cook joke about how most Americans are racist because the idea is we're gonna get too populated here in America and we're gonna have to colonize the moon, right?
Okay.
He goes, but then at some point we're gonna have to find a new Earth. And he goes, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get all the people, we're gonna get them all up and we're gonna go and find the new Earth. He goes, see, that's racist. He goes, how could that be racist? He goes, you wanna get all the white people and give them the new Earth and leave the black people shitty old Earth. Population 7.5 billion. China's got 1.4 billion? Holy shit.
Sounds about right.
India's got 1.3 billion.
All right, I think we're good.
I know, we're definitely good.
I'll buy you
lunch.
Thank you everybody for watching on YouTube and on
Rick,
Facebook.
I'll buy you lunch if you tell me the 4th most populated country. It's in Asia.
India.
Go, Indonesia.